You love to play Batista in this game, but gem combos are the death of me. I mean, you could just play her without doing gem combos, bro. Like, you could do the combos that work for you and then just zone people. You was hung up on not being able to do them. I mean, you could just play the character for as long as you want, and then if you can't do them, that's okay. Like, you're playing the you're playing the character because you want to play them, not because someone's telling you like, hey, if you're not doing gem combos, you shouldn't play the character. Like, don't listen to those people. Just play the character because you think she's fun. Oh, that's scary. Like, if you really like her, you'll play her. You just be like, okay, I can't do this, but like, I can do everything else. And maybe I'll learn one day. Who knows? Maybe you'll surprise yourself. So I'm not a type. So I used to be the type of person who would grind a game really hard to just play it to try to get really good. Somewhere down the line, I didn't find that fun anymore. Like grinding to be good, especially when I learned that I don't like a lot of people who play fighting games. I don't like a lot of people who play fighting games because they talk too much. They say certain things that if I told them certain things, I would definitely get into a fight with them, and I can't do that anymore. I used to be a very like when I was younger, I was a huge shithead. I was like a huge shithead, and I would just my mouth got me into a lot of problems. So I learned to not talk as much about shit, and I was just like, you know what, I just won't interact with you. So I learned that, like, you know what, I don't want to play fighting games because I don't want to talk to certain people, even though like I know a lot of good fighting game players who I talk to a lot. So I said, you know what, if I'm not going to play the game, I'm just going to learn how to be smarter than everyone who watches the game. And I was like, yeah, like if I like a game a lot, I'll do research, I'll watch shit, I'll learn about characters. That's more fun to me than like trying to like grind a tournament and get out of pools. Even though like sometimes that happens, I'm like, oh shit, cool. Like it doesn't happen all the time when I enter and I get out of pools, but sometimes when I do, I'm like, oh, that's cool. But the main focus I have now is just trying to like be smarter than everybody about how to talk about a game. Even though I fuck up on that too, but it's a lot less than before. But she's egregiously hard. I mean, again, you can play Yuzu. You can play Yuzu in a way that works for you until you slowly piece everything together. Like, no one's telling you that, like, hey, you're not doing optimal combos. You could just like playing the character. Like, you should just play the character and not worry about doing the stuff that's like, oh, I have to hold a million buttons. Just do the stuff that works first, and then you'll slowly get the stuff that is hard to you over time. Like, you of all people should know that stuff takes a little longer for people to learn. And it's not a race. Especially if you're not trying to win stuff, it's not a race. If you're just trying to play to have fun. Playing games competitive for 2 decades and playing for fun is like throwing as hell recently. I mean, when you play for fun, it's also kind of competitively, right? Like you want to play just to be like, okay, let's see if I can figure out strategies and stuff. It's like playing chess, right? Like when you play chess, you're like, oh, it's fun, but at the same time, you're like, okay, I'm trying to like win the game I play. But you set different goals for yourself as you play, so that way you're not bogged with the black and white of winning and losing, right? It's like, oh, did I understand how to punish this move? Did I understand how to do this combo? Did I understand this situation? Did I understand how to use my resources? Did I understand risk reward in these areas? Like, you slowly understand all that stuff as you play. It's not blatantly obvious, but your decision making increases in a lot of different areas the more you play. Yeah, like a lot of people don't do great at the start. There's some people who are just like, stuff clicks and they're pretty good. But then like, you like playing the game because you like playing it, i.e. not because like, you need to win all the time. Well, some people need to win all the time for validation, but it makes your life a lot easier when your mental's not about winning all the time, right? Yeah, learning too fast could also be a downside, because maybe you do really well in the beginning, but then once people start catching up, you start learning that you're behind and you've missed certain information. Your learning process is stunted. The dreaded plateau, yeah, the plateau is real. Just, yeah, people... It's funny you say that because there's definitely certain players of a... There's a certain player of a fighting game who's like really good at I'm not gonna BM too hard, but there was somebody who was really good at a game that came out like 3 years ago, and they just quit the game altogether because like their mental is not I feel like that person was mental was not good for the game, so they stopped playing. I was like, oh, that's good for you. You stopped playing the game, you played something that you actually really like. But I think it's because like most of the field kind of got stronger in this certain area of that game, even though I think the overall strength of the game in North America is not that strong. But you know, like when we were playing games competitively, we were just like, yeah, we got to learn now. But then I learned over the last couple of years that, well, I've learned for a long time that you can kind of just play at the pace that you want to, and you'll slowly get to where you want to at some point. It might be slower, it might be like instant one day, just like, oh shit, stuff clicks, cool, I'm in there. Like, I'm strong, you know? Everybody wants to be strong. But not everybody is a prodigy or a genius, right? Where everything clicks the first time you do it, or the first couple of times. Like, sometimes you have to go through the... You have to go through the process of getting beat up before you learn how shit works. And then when stuff clicks, you're like, oh, it feels good to, like, understand situations. It feels good to beat people who you thought were unbeatable before. Or matches get closer and you're like, oh, this used to be a wash before, now I'm like, last game, last round, this person. Or you beat this person. Because that's a good feeling, because it shows that you have some sort of material... You have proof that you're getting better, right? But sometimes it's not instant. Which a lot of people don't understand anymore, which is weird. But to be fair, for the longest time, fighting games has not given people the best mental state of, hey, you're losing, that means you're learning. No one's told you that. It's more like, hey, you're losing, that means you're bad. Right? That's what people have been taught for such a long time.